Foster. We'll start off with the opening statement from Coach, then we'll go into questions. Mike,
A lot of stuff to learn from. Not the outcome that we wanted in the first game, but just got to learn from this. This is not. It's not going to be easy, but the one positive thing I can take from this is that the way that they're sounding in the locker room right now. They understand that we didn't do enough, and they're ready to put in some more work and get ready to go on Monday.
Can you say a little bit more about that, what they're sounding like right now?
Just what I said. They're ready to go Monday. They understand that we got to stay together and we can't splinter. We are a team. Just like I said, we built a brotherhood over these last few months, and I think that they're just disappointed in what happened, the outcome of this game, but they're ready to work and stay together and move forward.
Seemed like both sides of the ball didn't do what you wanted tonight. What would you say was your biggest concern going forward, kind of assessing the whole team?
We just played a good team. That was it. We played a good team. They came out and played their style of play, and don't want to take anything away from them, but they were able to execute and do what they wanted to do out there on the field. So we just got to come back in, regroup, and really just grade yourself and be hard on yourself. This isn't going to be easy, and you can't just go in there and point the finger at other people. You really got to see what did I do to help this team.
Coach, tackling seemed to be a bit of an issue. What did you see from the sidelines, and how do you address that going forward?
I would say it was just a lot of stuff going on. I wouldn't just put it on tackling, but it was a lot of stuff. So it's just we got to regroup and really come together and just get some good 3 practices in next week to get ready for UNLV, because that's going to be another good team that we're playing against.
Coach, a few days ago you said that you were pretty confident your front four was going to be able to get in the backfield. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that was not the case today?
That was a good quarterback we were playing against. It's a pretty good O-line also too, but I don't want to take any credit from it. That was a good team we played, and they were able to execute.
And DeShaun, third downs defensively seemed to be a really big issue, especially early. What was it about Dan Pierre and I guess the protection they had for him that made things so tough tonight?
Just a slippery guy. It was hard to get our hands on him and really get him down. You see why he was able to come up to this level and play now. He was being successful, can make the first defender miss, maybe the first 2, and extend plays. So they did a good job playing off schedule and just were able to continue to move the chains the whole game.
Coach, there were some good flashes from Nico. What did you make of his performance?
Nico's a competitor, He's not going to quit, keep playing hard, kept motivating the guys around him. So, we just got to do a better job protecting him and keeping him upright.
Coach over here. The offense seemed like it had something going on with that touchdown drive in the second quarter, and then kind of seemed like the offense really couldn't find a rhythm after that. What happened that kind of took the offense out of that rhythm that you guys had found?
I think the score kind of got us to be one-dimensional at one point, so that was tough. But, I was proud of the way that they came out and just kept fighting. There might have been a couple long faces on the sideline, but for the most part, most of those guys were still out there fighting and understood that what you're putting on film now is actually who you are as a football player.
And would you happen to see out of Anthony Woods? Looked like he gave you some pretty good snaps there.
He did a great job. That's something that he's been doing since he's been here. Really took off in training camp, and you can see that he's far removed from his ACL and ready to continue to play ball.
Even before the score got a little bit out of hand, the run game didn't get a lot of chunk plays and big yardage. What did you see there, and how much did that kind of hurt the offense from establishing the identity it wanted early in the game?
I just think it was the situation of the game. We were able to run the ball a little bit in there. Nico was able to get a couple plays. Woods was also, but we just weren't able to stay consistent with that just due to the fact of kind of the tempo of the game and the way it was going. Okay, thank you, guys.
Nico over here on the side. Obviously not the result you wanted. What did you see and kind of feel out there tonight?
Man, we just didn't execute well. got to finish drives. Coach Tino put us all in the right position to go out there and execute. Me personally, I got to be better. And yeah, man, we all got to be better as a unit.
Coach alluded to the locker room scene as guys, knowing that you have to be better. What did you see in the locker room that kind of gave you the impression that these guys know that we gotta pull together now and move forward?
Yeah, man, it's first game, man. We went out there and we got punched in the mouth, man. And the guys in the locker room, we were all still together. We know that we can be better than that we displayed. And yeah, man, the only way is up from here. We got to continue to get better.
Nico right here. That first drive, not being able to get something out of it, was that kind of difficult to kind of not be able to get that first out on that fourth down play?
Yeah, I think the first drive, second drive, and third drive, man, we all had plenty of opportunities to put it in the end zone. I think we put it in the fourth drive, but those first three drives are critical, man. Our defense is going out there playing hard, and we went down early, man. So we gotta pick our defense up and respond well as a unit.
Nico, when the score, I think it was 20-0 at one point. How much did the score kind of just dictate what you guys were able to do offensively, and maybe, I don't know if telegraph is the right word, but maybe make it tougher to produce against that defense?
Man, I think going down 20-0 was only a three-play game, man. We went out there and we didn't execute well. We got it to 20-7, and then coming out at half, instead of a field goal, we were wishing for 7. Yeah, man, we just didn't execute well, man. So it all came down to execution, and we didn't do it at a high level today.
Nico, right here, Nico. Oh, you guys look like you guys had some offensive momentum with that touchdown to kind of cut the lead, kind of generate something. And then from after that point, it kind of seemed like that momentum kind of died quickly. So did Utah do something differently that kind of changed that, or do you feel like it was just self-inflicted wounds that were kind of just
all self-inflicted? Coach Foster, Coach Tino, like I said, they put us in great positions to go out there and make plays. And we didn't execute well tonight.
Nico, as leader of this team, what's your job the next week to kind of, get the guys ready for next week? What are you going to be telling them? How are you acting the next week?
Yeah, man, everything we want is still ahead of us, man. It's week 1. So, our whole mindset is shifting to who our opponent is week 2. And going out there and dominating and executing at a high level like our coaches are putting us in position to do.
Hi, Nico. Over here. Sorry. To the back.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. How much, I know people mentioned the score, but how much was the crowd participation in today's, your first game, mattered to you guys, whether they were cheering you on or just
Yeah, man, fan base came out and showed their support, man. It felt great going out there and playing in front of them. Obviously, we got to do our part and get them a win and make them enjoy the game. So, that's all on us, man, and, we're going to continue to get better throughout the year.
Nico, starting with a kind of a gut punch of a week 1, how do you personally respond to a game like that?
Yeah, man, I think we just take this as a learning experience. Utah was a great team. You got to give it, credit where it's due, man. They came out to play. And, we're going to face many more, tough opponents out there on the schedule, and we got to be ready.
Nico, this is your first game with Coach Ansari with UCLA, and despite the result, do you feel that you learned a lot from this and that you can take the offense and take it to better places going forward?
Yes, man, definitely. Like I said, Coach Tino put me in a lot of great positions to go out there and make plays, and me personally, I didn't execute at a high level. So, me taking myself back to the drawing board and using this film as some learning experiences and, what to see out there will definitely help me out this year. Appreciate y'all.
We got one. All right, guys, we got linebacker Isaiah Chisom with us. Start with Bud.
Isaiah over here. Tough night all the way around. I think you guys gave 14 of 16 third downs to them, and then containment on Dampier seemed to be a game-long problem. What were you seeing just kind of team-wide that was the problem containing Dampier?
I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's a good quarterback. He's mobile, and it was something coming into the game we knew that we had to focus on. But, good players make plays, and that's what was happening. I think this game, granted, it's only one game, but it just gives us a chance to just see what we need to work on. It sucks that it happened like this, but going into film tomorrow in practice, we know just exactly what we need to work on.
I think tackling was a problem. I think you had a position to be a TFL at one point that couldn't quite make. What were you seeing just as far as the inability to kind of bring guys down consistently for this defense?
Yeah, no, with my play, it's really about eye position. If you try to reach around somebody's shoulders, no matter how strong or how much you bench or squat, you're going to fall off. So it's just eye discipline throughout the game. And it's the first game thing. First game jitters, everybody, just trying to get their footing. But we'll be better next week.
I don't know how much tackling you guys did in the preseason. Do you think, being a little bit rusty from not really doing much of that may have contributed?
Maybe a little bit, but it's just, everything is personal. And individually, we just all, as a unit, as a team, just all have to become better tacklers. That's whether we won the game or lost the game. Tackling is definitely always an emphasis.
How much of this was just, maybe a bad matchup or maybe a really tough matchup, for a week one opponent, knowing, what their offensive line is like and all that?
Truthfully, I don't know what more you would want. Utah's a great opponent, and coming out the first week, I think you want to be able to play these type of games. And like I said, it's unfortunate that it happened like this, but we always want to be able to compete against the best. And Utah is a disciplined team, and
Coach Foster seemed to indicate that there was kind of a collective resolve in the locker room that you guys realized you got to get better. What did you kind of sense in there? What were some of the things said that make you, positive going forward, that you guys can kind of correct what went wrong and kind of pull it together?
When we went back to the locker room, it was just people trying to uplift people. We kind of talk about, personally in my life, unwavering faith. Like, you miss a tackle, we believe you're going to make the next tackle. You make one mistake, we know you're going to make the next one. It's not like you make one bad play and we're just like, oh, you got to make that. We got you, and we got your back. And, and the next play, if I miss a tackle, get me. Make that tackle for me. And the next play, we just keep on building off of each other. All right, thank you.